You tuned in to the Soulful Conversations Podcast, featuring a panel of life coaches and spiritual leaders from around the world discussing how to handle some of life's greatest challenges. We will be sharing stories of courage, hope, and inspiration with you, our faithful listeners, to live your happiest and most fulfilling life full of purpose and passion for yourself, your families, and the world. We are here to be the change we wish to see. Let the conversation begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Soulful Conversations, where we talk about everything that helps uplift, inspire, and help people live their lives with more grace and ease and peace and happiness. And so today, Stephanie and I are welcoming Maureen Scanlan. Oh my gosh, she is one of my favorite people. I'm going to let everybody tell about themselves. Maureen she has written books. She is a life coach. She is just one of the most amazing people. I am so blessed to know her. Jan is my friend. He lives in Namibia. We went through life coach training together. That's how we know each other. He is my soul friend. I love him so very much. So we're going to have a wonderful conversation today about communicating in relationships. And I'm talking about all kinds of relationships with our children, with our spouses, with our friends, with the people we work with. So I think that there are ways that we can communicate more effectively, all of us, and be our best, highest, and greatest selves when we do that. So Maureen, you're the first one on the screen, so I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, and then Jan, your turn is next.
Great. Thank you so much, Dawn. I'm so happy to be here with Jan and Stephanie and you. I just love Soulful Connections. This is amazing. And my name is Maureen Scanlan, and I am the CEO and founder of Maureen Scanlan Life Coaching. I coach on learning how to stop being lonely and start being alone. And really, it's about finding your self-worth. And my entire life, I had no idea what self-confidence and self-esteem were based on my upbringing and my beliefs until later in life. And it's never too late to start. I have written 2 books, as you said. The premise of them are about dogs and really living life the way that dogs live life, right? And unconditional. So those are the things that I try to follow in life. And I am the mother of 3 adult children, 3 grandchildren, and I have a stepson as well. I'm happily married to my soul flame, twin flame, Dennis. So I'm just happy to be here. So I can't wait to get started on our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Jan.
Well, I'm Jan Grobler. I'm from Namibia. Also, thank you for the opportunity, Dawn and Stephanie, and also the honor of joining Maureen. Maureen, nice meeting you also. Yes, I'm a life and transformation coach, very new to the field, new as in 4 or 5 years that I'm doing it now. I love seeing people finding their hearts, seeing people finding that their own love is enough. That sums up my life. Finding the heart, helping people to get them to the heart space where there's purity and there's all beautiful things for them, to go from that level up and then create lives they love living.
And you do that. And since I've known you, you've done that in my life. And, these friends that I have, when I talk about soulful connections and conversations, you meet somebody and there is this connection. It's like you've known each other your whole lives. You just pick up and it's so beautiful. I have these in my life. Stephanie, do you want to talk a little bit about you? I mean, you're always on the show, but what's going on in Stephanie's world right now?
Right. Well, of course, the same old, different day. I'm glad to be here. I'm very excited about our conversation today. I am a life coach. I'm an author. I'm a mother. I am in a happy relationship right now as well. But I just did want to start the conversation out maybe with pointing to the fact that I think that the most important relationship that we can ever have is with ourselves. And, I know that may sound egotistical in some ways if people don't really understand what you're talking about, the self-love and the self-care. But until we really, like Maureen said, until we can really come to within ourselves and learn to love ourselves unconditionally, then we can't really give that to anyone else. So welcome today, and I'm very excited to start this conversation.
Gosh, the conversation has begun. But, so we are talking about communicating and effective communication. And, I had a conversation this last week with my daughter, and I was kind of in a cranky mood. I hadn't eaten. I was doing a juice cleanse. So I was hungry, and, my house is like in upheaval, and I was just a little bit cranky, and she was a little cranky too. And so we were a little bit short with each other on the phone. And then we got off the phone, and then I thought, you know what? This is the person I love more than anything else in the whole entire world. I don't want to spend a moment in anger or irritation or annoyance with her. So I texted her and I said, I'm so sorry. And then we talked later, and she said, sometimes she doesn't feel like she can tell me things and I said, look, you know what? First of all, I want you to know that I'm never judging you. You can tell me anything because I love you unconditionally. And secondly, let me know how you want me to show up for you. If I'm saying something that is not helpful to you, let me know how you would like me to show up for you, because I want to show up for you in the way that you need someone to show up for you, because I love you. And, it was just so beautiful to be able to not get hurt or mad at her or her both. We both had to be willing to meet each other there. But when you have that relationship with somebody you love so profoundly, why spend a moment, not loving them? So Maureen, again, you're right up there. So I'm going to pick on you to chime in with something personal to you that resonates with.
Well, and I first want to say, we're human. We have off days. Have some mercy on yourself. It's normal. It's completely normal. And like you said, the best thing that you did was, you know what, I'm so sorry. I recognize that I wasn't my best self with you, and I may have been taking some stress out on you. And that's the beauty of it, is just be accountable for it, but have mercy too. We all have these moments, and our loved ones are the ones that are there to take it, and they love us unconditionally, and we love them unconditionally. So they're not going to get mad at you because you have an off day and you're irritated. So we're so hard on ourselves. Like, I need to be the perfect friend, the perfect mom, the perfect mate, the perfect, everything. Especially as life coaches, I'm sure you guys all feel like we're not allowed to have these bad days. We're not allowed to be off.
That's a big struggle for me.
Right?
That's a big struggle.
It's reality. And isn't that what makes us great life coaches, is because we've experienced it. So we can tell our clients, ooh, been there, had a bad day, took it out on my husband. I think that resonates so much more, is because we do have those experiences, because we are human, we experience it every day. But if we've worked through it, then we can hand them those methods and those tools. So when it comes to communication in relationships, I have two things. When it comes to your romantic relationships, something my husband did differently than every other person in my life. And I had very dysfunctional relationships. I had abusive, physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, psychologically, all of them. And I'm a slow learner, so there were quite a few. So when I met my husband, it was almost like unbelievable the way that he communicated. And it just kind of took me back. I was in awe. The thing that he would do when we had disagreements is he'd make me stay, continue the conversations, which I'm a flight girl. I, being, with a history of abuse, I'm like, no, shutting it down, getting out of here. This doesn't feel safe. I'm out. But really, he would say, this is what made me stay. He'd say, I'm trying to understand you better. That was a game changer. It was like, you're not trying to be right. You're not trying to enforce something on me. You're not trying to bully me or overpower me or abuse me. You want to understand me. It was, oh my gosh, it was life-changing. The second thing that I think we forget to do in our relationships, and especially our closest relationships, is have manners. Say please and thank you. You know, when you have these close relationships with your family, you just take it for granted sometimes. Hey, go get me that thing, or do this. I need you to do chores to your children. My husband and I, he'll thank me for doing the laundry. I thank him for going grocery shopping. We are constantly showing this respect with manners to one another. I don't want to be long-winded. This is my third point.
Oh, it's so good. This is so good. Keep going. I need to take notes.
And this is my third one. And I've recently taken in my 14-year-old grandson. There was a lot of dysfunction in his childhood. There was a lot of struggle with me being able to see him. And so when he came at 14, that's a lot of life before that I didn't get to know how he thinks, how he believes, what he's been through. So when he first came, it was kind of funny. I go into life coach mode constantly. You know, I forget how to take the grandma hat off, put the coach on, to take the coach off and put the grandma hat on. And as my husband jokes, every time we're in any situation, he's like, there's a life coaching moment in everything. Yes, sir.
That was the disagreement between my daughter and I, because I can't separate that, because, you know, it's just who I am. And so I know it's a little annoying to her.
That's it. That's
Yes.
exactly, you know, and my grandson, you know, he was a little hesitant to be able to share his feelings. And I said, hey, in this house, we talk about everything. You know what, this is your safe place. This is where you can be honest. He didn't have that growing up. It was put up and shut up. Just do what we want you to do, but don't talk. And he even asked me, or even questioned me. I said, is everything okay? And he goes, why? What did I do? And I go, no, we just talk. This is what we do here. I find out where you're at. I'm checking in with you. And so we would start having these conversations, and I'd say, you know, just be honest with me. He goes, well, I want to talk to you about something. And I said, okay, what do you want to talk about? And he goes, well, you know, when we talk, you know, you kind of life coach me and you kind of go on and on. ouch to the ego, right? You're like, oh, hey, I thought I was being a good grandma, but apparently I went straight to life coach mode. And I said, okay, just like you, John. I said to him, what do you need? He said the most profound thing, you guys, for a 14-year-old boy to say. He goes, Grandma, there's 3 things that I need. I either want to vent, I need comfort, or I need you to solve something. And I was blown away. And I said, so it would be best if I come to you and say, before we start this conversation, are you venting? Do you just want Grandma to comfort you? Or do you want help with a problem you're having? It really, really helped him. It did. And I can't say that I'm as consistent as I should be. I still go into life coach mode because I want the best for him. And, you know, I need to sometimes just step back, let him vent. We had a problem with him at school. Another student stole his skateboard. And it's funny how you learn, now that I'm a grandma, the difference between what I did as a parent and now what I do as a grandparent. Man, I'm so much more patient and calm and, you know, more level. And he knew who stole it. And I said, well, what do you want to do about this? Instead of saying, I will go to the school, I will call the kids' parents, I will blah, blah. I said, what do you think is the best plan? Well, him and his friends get this idea they're going to do this covert operation because they all put their skateboards in their classrooms. And he said, well, I got the deck back, the top part, but he's got my wheels and the little things that the wheels go on. They're called trucks. He goes, I'm going to take the board and then I'm going to go around the school and then I'm going to take them off and then I'm going to put his board back. And I said, okay. And he was so nervous. He was like nauseous going to school. And I said, he goes, I need a pep talk, Grandma. I said, okay, so this is the life coaching moment. I'm okay, right? And I said, if you think this is the best choice for you, I will support you because you're getting back something that's yours. And I said, but I want you to rethink it, how it's making you feel. I want you to go with your gut. And you tell me if that's the best way. Are you stealing back something? Are you doing an eye for an eye? Or do you feel justified in what you're doing? And do you feel it's fair and your gut is telling you this is good? The fact that he was nauseous and nervous told me something was off. And I wasn't going to say something's off. I said, you figure it out. he ends up texting me and said, I went to my teacher and my teacher had me go to the office and fill out a form saying this is the situation. And I was like, I am so proud of you. You did the right thing and you made the choice. I didn't tell you what to do. You did this. So fast forward, the school did nothing. And so a friend of the kid that stole it had his wheels, but the other kid still had his trucks, basically. So we got the wheels and the kid said, hey, he lives right around the corner. So we're leaving the kid's house with the wheels. I said, what do you want to do? His house is over there. Do you want to go over there? It's up to you. We can drive home or we can go over there. He like got this courage and this bravery and he goes, no, we're going to go to his house because I'm going to get back what's mine. And we went to his house and his aunt was there and we said, hey, he stole this and we want it back. And he got it back and he was so proud of himself because he's never been taught to stand up for himself. He's always been taught, just take it, just take it, just take it. And we're teaching him it's okay to speak the truth. It's okay to show up for yourself. And it is okay to do what's right for you. So long story, but the short of it is it can flip in an instant. He had 14 years of this instilled in him. He's here with us and we're teaching him day by day by communication, by me listening, by me being empathetic, by me validating his feelings. I'm not blowing him off because he's 14 years old. He's a teenager and this is just a small little blip in his life. I have to validate this is a big deal to him. So that's the long and short of what I feel like the real key points in communication and relationships are. So thank you. Jan, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I love that. Thank you so much, Maureen, for that. I think that I can't stress the power of good communication enough because, you know, in my practice, what I see 99% of the time, literally, if not 100, and whenever I hit that dip, as we life coaches do, it's the way I speak to myself. And I want to bring it home to self-talk, you know, to our own suggestions and thoughts, how we treat ourselves, because ultimately what we give to ourselves is fundamentally what we give out, you know. And that's why we don't talk to ourselves, you know, we don't talk to ourselves in a kind way, in an appreciative way, in a, you know, a motivational way, in a graceful, a merciful way, you know, where we can say, well, I messed up, I'm sorry, you know, I see this and I learn from this, I choose to learn from this. We go into judgment mode as a human species because we've been programmed to do that. I mean, that'll give you the halo and the wings that people are looking for, but it's not. And I think so that's the first thing. And I think if we could, and it's beautiful to see your little boy's got a grandma that really, really gives, I can't use that language here, but gives more than enough. Because I'd rather be coached by somebody all the time than being criticized by them. Okay. So I think I also know that coach mode so well, you know, in all my relationships, I immediately go to coaching. It's so deep entrenched in me, it's who I am, you know, and then understanding the brain and the processes and looking deeper. So I want to drop a key today that helped me a lot is, you know, in all my relationships, you know, if I look at my clients and what they're experiencing, and especially, you know, where there's an attachment to the relationship in terms of family or friends or a partner or whatever, is that we have to learn to listen to what they're not saying, because we are unskilled in really saying I feel and then giving that a word that matches the feeling. We're so unskilled with that. And so we will speak from the frustration. And I want to go back to Dawn's story, you know, with your daughter being irritable, you know, just that little bit of irritability. It's good awareness to know, you know, I'm irritable and I need to apologize to her. And that's all we need, because the power of apology is just as important, you know, to say, I'm sorry, I messed up. You will not lose anything by doing that. But we want to also listen to what they are not saying and try to understand what people are saying below saying it, whatever comes out of their mouths, because they're always communicating something they think about, something that's concerning to them, that you know, we could help them see. And so those ear prick-up moments to me is very, very important to make relationships work, because nobody gets up in the morning and just says, you know what, I'm going to be a bad person today. There is just, I cannot believe in human beings that comes from that perspective. Getting up in the morning, today is the day that I'm just going to be a bad person. You don't do that. Something triggers you, and that triggering, that cortisol release in your brain that goes into your guts and that, you know, drains your blood flow from the neocortex. You know, you can't think straight, you can't think inductively when that happens. And you know, primarily we got triggered by mountain lions and by, you know, attacks on us. And we were back in the day, we were safe in the tribe. Today, it's literally the competition we've created for ourselves all around us. So you're irritable with me, I'll be irritable back with you. I just pay back what I feel, you know, and then there's an explosion and there's lots of hurt and all of that. The brain cannot say, I'm not going to release cortisol because it's my daughter. It'll just do that. And a defense will start going on, and it blows up so big. If we could just shut up and listen to the person and just say, you know, I've got nothing to defend here. This means nothing to me. The other person is irritable. It's got nothing to do with me. And I seek to understand, and I want to listen to where she is. And then ask the question, darling, I see you're a little bit irritable. You know, I feel that way too today. It's, you know, it's that time of the month or whatever, you know, is the trigger. And then you can discuss that and you can have mercy on each other. But we come from defending, always defending, because your brain wants to keep you safe and wants to give you joy. You're wired that way. So communication to me is probably the biggest tool of creating safety. You know, if you look at a little baby being born, that first year, you know, and even in the womb, that very first experience is routine. There's you know, blocks of, this is when you get a bottle or a boob, and this time I'll tell you a story. But when they cry, fundamentally, what do they want? We talk to them. We chat to them. Hey, honey, everything is okay. I'm here. And the chatting, the conversations with them is what calms them down. Now, if our brains strip back to that unsafe space, it's fundamentally because we don't communicate, and we can fix so much with it. You know, if we can have a safe environment from which we can go and say, hey, listen, you know, what you said to me today hurts me, and I want to understand why, and I want to make this a safe space to communicate. Relationship will last. And Maureen, I don't know, I think you have competition in me when it comes to relationships. so you know, dysfunctional, deluxe, okay, on steroids. That's my relationship life. And honestly, you know, when you think back to all of them, it could have been solved with just a little bit of chatting about the problem. Just understanding we're on the same team. I'm here to love you, and my love may not be perfect. It's unskilled. But I want us to sit and have a deep heart-to-heart. You know, Brené Brown, you know, spoke about the power of vulnerability, and I wrote about it in my book, which by the way, I didn't mention in the introduction. I referred to one of the things she said there in the power of vulnerability. And my book is called "Get the Hell Out of Your Own Way," literally. And that's why, you know, it's that self-awareness. And she talks about being vulnerable in conversation, you know, being really, really vulnerable without coming from a defense, being enough just being enough and not having to defend your enoughness. Ultimately, having the tough conversations, admitting I've done wrong, putting a boundary around a conversation, and say, I want to communicate to you, and centering yourself to come from love, and not on that attack mode always, where we want to state a point, and where we want to drive a point home and want to be right. So there's so much to be said. There's so much to be said, and the power of apology, I think, is a big thing. If any listener of this podcast can take away the power of apology, because we will make mistakes. We will. It's the human curriculum. It's betrayal. And every betrayal starts that deep sense of trial in us, where we go into, what did I do wrong, and wanting to defend. And if we can just apologize from the onset and say, first to ourselves, we apologize to God, but we never say to ourselves, listen, Jan, I'm sorry, I've mistreated you. And then to the other person. If we make that normal, the world will be such a good place to live in. People will find so much joy, because the reality is people will mess up. It's how it is. We will make mistakes, and we can only learn and grow from them. So yeah, that's I think my 10 cents on both of your comments, both Maureen and Dawn, and then to listen, not to answer, but to listen, to understand. Yeah, understand. What are they trying to say to me that they're not saying?
Oh, I feel like these are my friends. This is the voices that I get to have in my head. This is the wisdom I'm surrounded by on a daily, constant basis. Like, how lucky am I? Stephanie, I know you've got some great things to say, because we have conversations about this all the time.
Again, it's going to go back to, you're right. I'm a life coach and I'm a mother. And so when my friends or my clients or people talk to me, the first thing I want to do is fix them. I want to give them an easy fix. Well, you should do this and you should do that. Yeah. But I've learned and I've realized that I need to just step back and, like Jan said, shut up and say, what is it that you need? What are your needs? Because if I'm just going off trying to help you with something that is not even resonating with you, kind of like Maureen with your grandson, that is awesome, because you gave him the chance to make his own choice and then feel good about it. So that's just an amazing, amazing thing. And I just think that communication is one of the most important things in any relationship, because if I'm upset that something you've done and then I don't tell you what that is, I just get an attitude, then I'm expecting you to read my mind. And I've done that before in my relationships. I've gotten huffy, and I'm not going to talk to you now and all that, instead of just saying, look, this is what I need from you. We're having a misunderstanding. I'm sorry I made you upset. You made me upset. Let's talk about it. And then usually what you're thinking, the other person, it's nothing, or, the way they're taking it is not the way you were trying to portray it to them. So it can go, like you said, it can make or break a relationship. I really do. And if you can just sit down with each other and be honest and be loyal and not be the fixer, really listen with intent to listen, and like I said, not try to fix everybody. So
yeah, I love that. And Dawn, I'm gonna make it short here, but Jan, what you said, I love. First of all, it's the hearing what someone's not saying and the ability to look at things from someone else's perspective. When you love yourself and you have self-confidence and you're good with who you are and where you stand on this planet and in your soul and in your alignment, then you don't get that defensiveness, right? And let's be real, empath problems, we draw in people who want fixing or who need fixing, or see that we feel them. Stephanie, you said it, we want to fix them because we feel them. We have such a deep feeling of other people's pain that our instinctual thing to do is, I'm here to do something on this earth. My purpose is to help people, but we're not helping them by inhibiting their own growth and their own path. that was the difference I learned with my oldest child, who I just kept putting a pillow under her before she fell. And I realized, oh my gosh, she's in her 30s and I did not help her grow. One of the things that, Jan, you said that I love was the when we come into conflict, we have these arguments in relationships. It's the defense is there. And what we're trying to do is, all of my psychology background talks about it's enforcing my beliefs and my values and my perspective on you, and say, and I'm going to keep fighting until you get what I feel. Well, it's impossible. I've never lived a minute in Dawn's life. I've never lived a minute in Jan and Stephanie's life. How can I possibly get your exact perspective? I can only come at it from my view, and I can try to help someone see it from my view, but my job is to see other people's perspective and where they came from. And I think that's where the wall is when we come to
Exactly.
and being able to resolve things, whether it be world peace or whether it be, you know.
I was just going to say that, whether it's on the micro level with our personal relationships or even in the macro level in the world. Everybody does have a different life experience, so they are going to see the same exact situation from a different lens, and allowing people that lens to see it from is the grace that if we can find within ourselves, it makes that communication easier. And you know, again, I look at the people that I love most in the whole entire world, like you are those that I count among those people, you know, so I want to always be in a place where we can communicate together and hear each other. And like, if I ever said or did something to anybody I love, it's like, it's never the intention, you know, so if it's perceived that way, you know, please let me know that that's how it was perceived. And I will apologize. As Jan was saying, apology is so important. But when you're comfortable in your own skin and you are in a safe environment, I think what your husband gave you is that safe environment. Like, I want to get you. I'm not here to punish you or to tell you you're wrong and I'm right. It is to love you and find out what your perspective is. I think that's so beautiful.
I want to add into that, you know, that when we do go to someone and we say that we're hurt, you've hurt me, they may not even know that they've hurt us, but we want to be valued for that. We want to be seen as, I understand, I validate your feelings. I didn't mean to hurt you, but if that's how you say you feel, then I'm going to validate that and I'm going to hear you out.
Don't go anywhere. The Soulful Conversations will be right back after this important message. Meet Dawn Earhart Witte, loving mom, author, international speaker, humanitarian, certified life coach, podcast host, and founder of the Beeline Products that offers life-saving support of impoverished children around the world by way of beautiful and extremely well-made inspirational merchandise, including lovely t-shirts, pillows, coffee mugs, soft warm throws, totes, jewelry, all natural skincare products, fragrances, and many more wonderful items that make great gifts as well as keepsakes. The best part of all is that $7 of every item purchased will help empower and lift children around the world so they may live their happiest and most fulfilling lives filled with meaning, kindness, and love. To support this amazing organization and purchase an item for yourself or a gift for a loved one, please visit thebelineproducts.com today. Thank you.
I want to add into that, you know, that when we do go to someone and we say that we're hurt, you've hurt me, they may not even know that they've hurt us, but we want to be valued for that. We want to be seen as, I understand, I validate your feelings. I didn't mean to hurt you, but if that's how you say you feel, then I'm going to validate that and I'm going to hear you out.
Yes, so important.
Yeah. And I want to connect to the world peace thing. I think I always say to my clients, the two things that creates all the problems in the world is sex and war. Sex and money is always a war. That's where war comes from. And it's greed, you know, it's greed based. And greed, you can take it back to the most granular level where we think I'm losing out when a Maureen corrects me. And she says to me, but Jan, I have a different perspective of that. Then that means I'm the loser. No, it does not. It just means Maureen's programming looks at the same thing from a different angle. Nobody is right and nobody is wrong. But we're so focused on lack. I see young couples, they start out and it's, they have date nights and they connect deeply and then they break up somewhere. There's a breakage, and then they come to me, and I always have one session where I'm the middleman. I keep the peace. I literally be the peacekeeper, but I let them voice what the other one does in front of them, and then I dot it down, and I keep them very calm, and then I let them go, their separate ways, and then I work with them one-on-one, and we take those perspectives, and we try to understand the partner. And 99% of the time, it's not a big issue that they made a big issue, okay? And because of that one big issue that was never sorted out, where somebody felt like a loser and the other one felt disrespected or not seen or not heard, they stopped communicating. Now life goes on, it waits for no one. And then gradually their path starts to grow separately. They don't date anymore, they don't get that spark back. And it takes, I always say, for a man, it takes a beautiful woman with fishnet stockings and boobs with a little toast to get distracted. And people...
Is that what it takes?
That's what it takes, Dawn, for most guys. But, it's so sad because everyone looks for that love, but they don't work on it. And, even the meaning we give to work, to the word work in relationship feels daunting. Why do we call it that? Why do we call it that? Why can we change our meaning? Because it is literally what you've had in that first 3 months, 6 months, year, that ceremony, conversations filled with, when we finished here, the fire is on, and and the chocolates are out, and it's going to be a wonderful time. It's that energy we need to bring to relationships, because guess what? That's what makes relationship last. But we don't have those check-ins regularly, and guess what? Everyone is busy with their own lives, and everywhere there's distractions, and those distractions grows on us. And if we don't get home and say, but hang on, I had a tough day today and I want to share my day with you, and it sounds to the other one like work, well, guess what? Soon you're going to see a breakage. And it's literally because we don't talk about these things. Now take that to the corporate world. Take that to a world where I come from in banking. Thank God I had a wonderful leadership team. I could go to them and say to them, you know what, this is how I feel. And I could be very vulnerable in my conversations with them, always. But, we're too scared, or leaders are too closed up to say to employees, come, tell me, where can I grow? Come tell me, where can I do better? Because, oh God, what will happen to your title and your degree? Nothing. You will grow, you'll become an even more loved and respected leader, because that shows me vulnerability. Take it to world peace. The world peace thing comes from, since I was probably 10 years old, I remember world peace. Yeah, world peace, my, goodness. We will not get there if we don't sit and listen to each other and realize, okay, we're not in lack. We created lack in our minds. If we know we lack nothing, then why do we defend? Why do we fight? Why do we have to have the last word? Why do we struggle to listen?
No,
Right.
I love that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but as you were speaking, what I was thinking was conflict is the symptom, right? But the cause is fear, insecurity, view of lack, all those things that we think we don't have. When we are doing self-love, we have all those things. then the conflict doesn't feel like conflict because we don't have the symptom. Now we can remove the emotion from it. I don't know if you guys ever, this is teeny tiny, but as life coaches, I have the emotion wheel.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And this is just a little sticker I keep on my iPad. But so what it has is it has all these outer emotions and then inner emotions, and then it comes down to these 7 things: being fearful, angry, disgusted, sad, happy, surprised. So really, if you take all those extra emotions, right, when you have conflict, it's because underlying whatever you're saying that's not in agreement with me is my own projection, is my own insufficiency. So if I don't feel self-confident about, let's do an example. So I have this big speech thing coming up in October, and I'm procrastinating it. And I wrote a big speech, and I read it for my husband, and he says, well, you need to change this and you need to change this. Well, instantly, I'm already insecure, nervous about it. And I'm like, you don't understand what I have to talk about. You don't get it. You're not in this realm. You know, the least you could do is encourage me and tell me what's good about it. So see how I could instantly, I throw out the conflict because I am insecure, or I am nervous or anxious that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not going to perform at a level that other people are. And I paid a lot of money for this. So it always, world peace, same thing. Lack, like you said, if every country felt they were self-sufficient and they were content with it, they would never have to worry about what other countries say or other countries attack. They would be secure in who they are, whether it's people, whether it's corporate, like you said. You had a great experience when you were in the corporate world. I did not. 26 years of the corporate world, it was put up and shut up. And it was, you are a part of this big thing, but you really don't matter. You're a spoke, but we don't recognize that you're an important spoke. And so all of those internal, that deep work that we do as life coaches and as humans, when you're secure and you've worked and healed those parts of you, those arguments are not as life-changing or as intense or dramatic. Like you said, you know, Jan, the relationships, it's so funny how the littlest thing can set you off. I always tell my clients, my couples that I coach, it's not about leaving the cap off the toothpaste. It's something deeper that's been continuously happening. You're not, like you said, you're not nurturing and putting effort into the relationship 5 years after you started it the way you did 5 days into it. So it's not about the cap off the toothpaste. It's about feeling disrespected. It's about feeling unappreciated. So getting down to the deeper, and I learned this, when I'm feeling upset about something, instead of saying, why do they do this? Why does this happen? I always, now my go-to, I've reframed and learned a new habit. What is this teaching me? What is this teaching me? And that makes me go back inside and stop pointing fingers and blaming the world, the situation, other people. I start going, wait a minute, why is this resonating in this way with me? Because I'm insecure about something. If my child makes me angry, what do? I'm insecure. Was I a good mom? Am I still a good mom? Did I do everything to raise them the best way, to give them everything? It's not about them and the comment that they made. It's about me forgiving me and saying, you did the best you could and you're still learning. Until the day you stop taking a breath and you're no longer in this physical world, you're doing the best you can and you're going to keep doing it. But saying that to myself has been amazing, because I can take a lesson instead of a hit when I say, what is this teaching me?
Yes, that's
about sorry, Dawn, I just want to say to Maureen, it's about taking perfection away from us. Because perfection is what drives us to be right. You know, to be perfect, and nobody must criticize me because otherwise I'm no longer perfect. you know, if you look at psychosomatics and you look at how that perfection drives people to heart attacks, to the most horrifying diseases, you know, the body, trying to be perfect, you will never find that place. There's nobody that's perfect. And I think that's summing up for me what you're saying. You just to get out of our own ways with trying to be perfect, because I could have had so many more happy days had I not been criticizing myself for not being perfect. Dawn, you know, I can see you. So go, yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've all done it. And that's been one of the lessons that I've needed to teach myself, is not so much the perfect part, but allowing myself to be human and giving myself the same grace that I allow other people. You know, like, again, my daughters and things like that, when they make a mistake, I'm not like, oh my God, you're so stupid. Like, how could you do that? I would never say that to them, but I say it to me. Like, why? You know, and I had to learn to stop doing that. And I was having a conversation with my friend the other day, and she was being hard on herself. And I said, will you please stop that? And I never talked to her like in a mean way. And she goes, what? And I said, please stop talking about my friend like that. I said, I would never say those things to you. And if I heard anybody speaking to you like that, I would tell them to stop it. And I hear you talking about you like that, so I'm asking you to stop it. And when she goes, you know what? When you said it to me like that, she goes, that really hit. It really like hit a chord. And I'm so glad that I was able to make her aware of what she was doing to herself.
I think a lot of
Yes.
us do that were brought up with criticism, or you've had a lot of people in your life that criticized you, and it became this norm. This new norm was, my parents were extremely critical. My mother even actually said to me, I wanted perfect children. That's what she said. You talk about a deep programming, holy moly, you know, it really is that if you've had a lot of critique around you, you ingrain that into yourself. And the go-to was, well, if they critique me, I critique me. And I started saying, there's nothing you can say to me that I don't already say to me. So there's nothing you can do to hurt me. And it's a terrible cycle. And we have to break that and go, wait a minute, I recognize I criticize myself a lot. I'm negative about myself. That reframing process, just like you did with your friend. Hey, I hear it. I recognize it. You can do it with your friend. But for you, it may have been something normal you've been doing for 50 years because it just was normal. That was the normal programming that you had. Sorry, Stephanie, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, but that was brilliant, Maureen. Stephanie, go ahead. Oh,
I'm going in with what everybody else is saying about the constructive criticism. You know, until we heal those parts of ourselves, we're going to get defensive. And we're going to go to that fear, the anger, the self-doubt, all those things. But when we can, you know, like me and Dawn, we're best friends. We do this a lot. You know, we say, well, yeah, I see a different perspective. And I'm able to look at that and not get defensive and not be like, well, you think I'm not good enough, or you think I'm this or that. I'm able to really take in, you know, the constructive criticism and really just look at myself and ask, you know, what is it within me? What is it? Something within me.
Well, and it's not even,
and so
it's not even criticism, Stephanie. It's kind of like, you know, I see it maybe differently. You know, it's kind of like, well, you know, I see it this way. It's never criticism because I don't know that my way's right. You know, so again, I don't think I'm perfect. I don't think I know everything, but I do have a different perspective. And I used to think I couldn't speak my perspective because, you know, somebody's not going to like me. There's a way to communicate your perspective without being disagreeable and without being mean or nasty or telling the other person they're wrong. It is just like, this is the way I see it, but that doesn't mean I'm right. And I feel like that's also a way to not have somebody get defensive when you do say something that you see differently.
Yeah. One thing I can say, Dawn, is what I've learned now is when someone's not seeing, my son, my 23-year-old son is super stubborn, and we're talking about him, you know, making a career change and all this. And he just fights me on every suggestion. And what I have learned now, and I know you guys probably are right here in the same space with me because you're my soul people, is that they will never see it from my perspective because they didn't live the way I did, but also if they haven't had the experience yet. So this is one thing my parents used to say to me: you don't listen to a word we say and do things the way we tell you to because we're trying to help you. And I used to say, even as a child, I'd say, yeah, but I got to do it myself. I got to figure it out for myself. And I got now that my parents wanted to protect me from the pain, but what I learned is they need those experiences. I want them to experience it. It's like, here's an analogy. It's like, I love chocolate cake and I make a chocolate cake, once a month, every 2 weeks, whatever. And I just love to have chocolate cake. I'm telling someone who's never had chocolate cake, you need to eat this chocolate cake. It is the best thing you've ever had in your life. You have no idea. And they're going, no, I don't want chocolate cake. I like carrot cake. No, you're not listening to me. You have to try this chocolate cake. So I'm trying to tell them, this is my experience. I've had it, and they're fighting it. And until they try that chocolate cake, they're not going to understand how good chocolate cake is. In the same aspect, they're going to do that in life with their experiences. I cannot tell someone you need to do this in your relationship because they haven't experienced it. I can't force my experience onto them, but it's so cool. And I'm sure you guys witness this. One of the reasons I love relationship coaching so much is I can coach. And at the beginning of the coaching, I have date jars and I have, these communication exercises I make them do. I literally make them be each other for a day. So they have to go through their day. She has to be him, or if they're, same sex, they have to be their partner and speak the way their partner does, act the way their partner does. Because now you've got a different perspective. You're outside of yourself and you're watching what it's like to be married to you or with you. Let me tell you how cool it is. And the change in that next session, they're like, oh my God, I had no idea I said that all the time, or I had no idea I did that all the time. Sometimes though, it will get to the fight part and I'll say to them, this is fun. This is not serious. We're not making fun of one another. We're just getting a different perspective outside of ourselves. And when they experience that and they come back and they're like, that was so cool, Maureen. Like, we learned so much. Now I don't do X, Y, Z. It's amazing. But look, I could have said it for 3 years of relationship coaching and they wouldn't have gotten it, but they had to experience this for themselves for it to really sink in. And that's what I've learned with my relationships is when you experience it, you will get it.
Beautiful. With everything.
So that's how the brain learns on the other side of theory. Hey, it's experience. So yeah, it's interesting. I love what you're doing with your couples, trying to be somebody else for a day. That could be fun.
Yeah. I've seen Instagram reels like that. Have you seen Instagram reels where like the husband is pretending to be his wife and he gets into the car with like all these packages and Starbucks, and they're always so funny. I love it.
I have not, but it's a really fun experience with certain couples. Now if they're really at the brink, it's like, no, we're not going to do that. That's just gonna that's gonna really insert a little bit too much negativity. But when they're willing and they're using tools already, it's a great way to get a perspective of each other. And I know when my husband and I sometimes argue, we'll use each other's voices. I'll go, oh, well, we don't have enough room. We always argue about organization. Our go-to argument is about organization. And we know if we start talking about space in the house, in the garage, anywhere, it's going there. And I always go, do we want to go here right now, honey? And then he'll make fun. He'll do my voice. Oh, well, we did it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It's sort of the same idea. We become each other, although it's annoying at times. We're not really doing it as constructively as possible, but just an example. It is fun, Jan. You should try that with your couples because it can be. I can imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine because relationships just mirrors ourselves to us. It's literally that. You know, and it's nice to see the nice stuff. It's nice to see, you know, I see that thing in you and it's beautiful, and that's beautiful. It's all good and well. But there will come a time that they show us an unhealed part of us, of ourselves, that we need to go and heal. And that's where the ego stands up big time. And that's where we want to be right. And the other party needs to, you know, do all the work. It's an interesting and a complex thing, but we can make it simple. I think we can really make it simple if we can put some fun into conversation and make it normal. You know, start with things like I feel, or what I love about you is, before we go to, you know, you always do that. Before we go to the critique parts, you know, just give the person a compliment. That already brings the brain a little bit down and say, okay, I can send blood to the, you know, to the neofrontal cortex. I'm not in danger. It's not a threat. But if you start with a threat, the brain just does its job, and it's instantly, you can't control it. Now you need to breathe, and you need to not kill the other person. You know, it's interesting to see this, but I've had very good results with couples, and I can just say that where we did the journey, you know, starting out together and then do one-on-one and then get back together again. And it takes about 3-4 months, for some a little bit longer. But then the same couple that wants to divorce and says, you know what, I don't want this anymore, sits in front of me and saying something shifted. And I always say, oh, did she change? No, she didn't. I changed. So, well, that's beautiful. That's because always inside me, you know, the world we see is from our perspective. And if I can change my perspective about something, I can change my life.
Oh, you guys are so good. I am so grateful to have your voices in my head and in my life. I'm going to let everybody have a final thought before we wrap up the show today. But I feel like I just got like a great life coaching session from 3 amazing life coaches. So thank you guys so much. I should have taken notes, but we've got it recorded, so it's all good. So Jan, I always start with Maureen, and I just have to say that color on your wall is just fantastic. And Maureen's color on her wall is so beautiful. And I love watching them two together. I'm just like, wow, this is such a colorful show this week or this month.
Yeah, it's my little study wall where I started out as a coach some years ago in this small little room at home, because it's 8:30 almost at night. So yeah, I want to maybe just say that to me, thank you first of all for having me. For, you know, it's good chats. I've learned a lot from both Steph and Maureen, and also Dawn. Can I just say that I love you as much as you love me. You can't outlove me. So I don't know. So it's a mutual.
We'll fight you on that one.
It's not a competition. Not a competition. I'm going to mediate.
But yeah, I think I want to just close from my side with probing couples to ask for help. Listen, the person that you date next will come with different SHIT, and there I said it now, in a different body. It's not, there is no perfect partner. So ask for help. Anyone in that struggles with communication, do that for yourself. Ask a Maureen, a Stephanie, a Dawn, a Jan to ask you to speak to yourself in a better way, to help you to do that, so that you can feel safe enough to have the tough conversations and learn to be vulnerable. If you need to be right always, there's always going to be a challenge in your life. There's no winning and losing in any relationship, really, really not. Even if it's a cashier or, you know, a petrol attendant, whatever it is, relationship that you have with a person, there's always a give and take. And if we struggle with any relationship, go back to asking help, because it can be fixed so much quicker, so much more effectively than going through that pain, than then that emotional wheel of yours, Maureen, I have this check-in little thing on my phone. That's a vibratory states, and it's almost below the midline. It's the lower vibratory states, and that's where I'll start to attract. Okay, so check in with yourself. What do I feel? And ask for help. There's nothing wrong with it. We live in a time and a space where it's now cool to have a coach. It's cool to have a therapist. Not to just say, I have a coach and a therapist, but to do the work in you so that you can give away what you expect from others. And that's just the bottom line. We cannot give away what we do not give to ourselves first in a consistent way. So thank you very much. That's me. And I'm so grateful. So grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. My life is so much richer.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you both so much for today. Y'all have been amazing. There has been some beautiful, beautiful stuff that people need to know. And I just want to thank you so much, Maureen and Jan, for bringing your beautiful knowledge to our podcast. So thank you so much.
I love these. I love the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is that which is like itself attracts the same. And man, if I don't have 3 of my soul people here reunited in this physical world, I'm super excited to know all of you. And of course, Dawn asks, I jump how high, when, where, what, because Dawn is the most purest soul. I've known you for many, many, many lives, and I just feel this pureness about you. And now getting to know Jan and Stephanie, I feel the same way. I have goosebumps right now. I'm getting validated by my spirit team.
I have them.
See? Literally. I love what Jan said, the vibration. Right? So the higher we raise our vibration, I tell this to all my singles, you unhealed will attract the same level of where you are. Do you want a better partner? Do you want the best partner? You've got to be better. You've got to be your best. And when you do that, that's when you get someone who is matched with you. It's vibrational. It's energy. People always think it's, my parting thought is that love is a verb. It is not a noun. It is not this brass ring that we're all reaching for is, oh, I get this love thing over here. Love is action. Love is something you do for yourself, for the planet, for others, for your family, for your partners. Love is something that is ongoing, moving, fluid. Keep doing it. Don't wait for it. It's not a noun. And
it's who we are.
Yes. It's all of this programming of these Disney these Disney movies of, we're all want this thing and we never get to this thing. And when I don't get to this thing, I have anxiety and I have depression and I'm not worthy and I don't feel I'm good enough. A lot of us, parents are parents. They make mistakes. Every generation, I hope, gets better. My legacy is to be better than my entire line of ancestry, mothering wise. And for me, it was all about be different. See what's different. See what doesn't work and try to figure out what will work better. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is I have this thing called the Oreo effect that I tell my clients to do. And whether it's business, friends, children, or partners, it's called the Oreo effect. So your first cookie is validation. I really appreciate you. You do so much for us. I think you're just great. You have so many talents, and it's just, I'm so impressed by your achievements. The cream is, what do I need? You know what would be great is, do you think we could work on this XYZ? What I would like from you, or what would be helpful to me, is XYZ. There's the cream. And the bottom one is encouragement. This is really great. I know you can do this. I've seen you make changes. Let's do this. Let's set a goal for a week from now. We'll get back together. I know you're going to do this because you've achieved so much. Isn't that feel better than me saying, Dawn, you need to do this because you're not performing at a level I need you to perform at, and I need it tomorrow? That's that is instantaneously stress, human stress right there. That you're asking for defense. You're asking for rebellion right there. But when you come at a loving place, when you come to people with incentive for it to be good for them, wow, there's the movement. And whether it's family, relationships, or children, you're going to get the results you want, and they're going to feel good about doing it. So I just wanted to throw my Oreo effect in there because it's one of my favorite methods. But I just, what's that?
That's a win-win.
Isn't it? I
Yes.
just love you guys, and I hope what everyone takes away from this is that I love that Jan said, reach out for help. Let's figure it out. We're removing the stigma of mental health, and I love that. That's my movement, man. Get me out there. For me, it's stop being lonely and start being alone, because I was lonely and I was in a relationship since I was 18 years old till I was 45. Like, what the heck? How could I be lonely? I was in all these relationships. I was lonely because I didn't love me. And I thought love was what I did to earn it. And guess what, guys? You don't have to earn love. You don't have to earn love. You are love. And when you realize how amazing you are, the things that you have accomplished as a human, how powerful you are, and that you have choices. That's the difference. I remember I literally went to a counselor one time, and he said, you talk like you're an 80-year-old woman whose life is over. That's how I viewed it, because I didn't think I had choices. I thought, here's what was handed to me. Suck it up, buttercup, do the best you can, but you're always going to have problems, and people are always going to tell you what you need to do. And if there's anything for me that I give to my clients is stop worrying about everybody else around you. Put on the blinders, put on the earmuffs. You validate you. That's all there is to it. You came alone, you leave alone. Live your path, live your purpose. Love you. Thank you. I love you guys.
Oh, love you, Maureen. I love you. I love it. Providing a safe space, showing up in the world as the person that you would like to have in your life, whatever that is. If it's the person at the grocery store, the person in traffic, the person who's your friend, your mom, your sister, your brother, whatever it is, show up as the person you would love to have. And it really is that simple. I mean, it's harder sometimes to do it, but it's the notion of it, the concept of it. If you can be that person, then you're going to have the high energy. You're going to attract these wonderful, wonderful people in your life. I don't have friends that are criticizing me, putting me down, judging me. They accept me. They love me for who I am. They're there for me when I need a different perspective or I need some advice on something. I'm just so very grateful. I'm grateful that I get to bring them to a wider audience so everybody can hear your beautiful voices and perspectives in the way that you see the world. So thank you once again for joining us at the Soulful Conversations. It's been another amazing conversation. If you like what you hear and you want to be part of it, please look up our website. It's the soulfulconversations.com. We are looking for sponsors, so we'll create an ad for you and put it in our video and put that out to our audience. So please feel free to contact us. We would love to have you join us, because we are here to make the world a better place by sharing our stories and sharing our love. So thank you so much for joining us.